Hello and welcome to my 2024 tier list. This is every movie I saw in theaters, specifically in 2024. The movie did not have to come out in 2024 to qualify for this, just as long as I saw it in theaters, specifically in 2024. I think there's 17 in total, ranging from really, really good to just plain awful. And let's start off with the obvious one, which is Dune Part 2. You already know this one's S tier. We're not even going to talk about it. It was just good. 10 out of 10. No notes. Wonderful cinematics. And now we're talking about it. And the score was beautiful. And I can't stop because it's Dune Part 2. And I think about it all the time. It's beautiful. Wonderful film. No notes. Okay, next up is Wicked. This one, I've debated wholeheartedly over this. The only reason it's not getting A tier or S tier is because I'm not a massive Wicked fan, A. And B, I thought it was too long. I thought they dragged out some stuff. But I'm not going to knock it any lower. Some people would. Because it's exactly what it says on the tin. If you like Wicked, this movie is for you. And I can see people putting this as S tier or A tier or even any higher. You know, they can go above and beyond with this. This could be their Dune Part 2. It is exactly what it says on the tin. If you like musicals, if you like Wicked, you're going to love this film. And I do think The Bloat is for people who love this film. It just wasn't for me. It was not for the general populace. I feel like they could have cut it a little bit shorter, but I'm not going to harass them for leaving it so long. Because I think it was an objectively good choice from a marketing standpoint to make this into 2 films and to add so much bloat. Because the people that love this are going to love it. And love it they did. I got a lot of stuff on TikTok that I saw and a lot of stuff on other social media. And the people that love it do love us. And I'm not about to knock it for them. Next up, we got Beetlejuice. So Beetlejuice 2, this is one that I go back and forth to. It's either A tier or it's B tier. It depends on the day. I think today it's a B tier. I thought this was a Tim Burton movie, for sure. I thought it was really good. I definitely agree that the plot lines, there was too much going on and they didn't wrap it all up at the end. But I don't think they did that in the first one. Now that I'm thinking about it, I thought it ended pretty abruptly in the first one. So I wasn't surprised to see it end so abruptly and quickly in the second one. Actually, I thought it was pretty typical. I really enjoyed the musical numbers, and I thought, wow, this is a Tim Burton movie when I saw it, especially because he had to stick his current hot wife or girlfriend in there and make her look very hot. That's kind of what he does. It was expected. It's only B tier because I do think they could have wrapped it up a little bit better. Like, objectively, this film could have been just that little bit better. And it wasn't. So that's the only reason it's going B tier. Next one up, controversial. Very, very controversial. Deadpool and Wolverine. It's not getting S tier. I'm sorry. I just can't. I felt like while it was a really good step in showing how far we've come in comic book movies and how much fan service we got in this was really great, I do think that there were some things that bogged it down. Like, you can definitely tell this was made during the writer's strike. It was missing some stuff that could have made it better. It really mishandled some of the Deadpool characters. Like, I think them not really being in there at all was kind of a fumble on their part. And I watched the Deadpool movies because I really like all of their interconnected characters. Like, I really liked seeing Negasonic Teenage Warhead and her girlfriend. I thought they were really cute. And I can't remember his name. You know who I'm talking about, the Metal Man. I really enjoyed seeing him in there, and I was kind of sad to just see them like cameo in it. I felt like there could have been a little bit more inclusion of the previous Deadpool characters, and maybe just slightly less fan service. Even though I really enjoyed it, that's why it's getting A tier. I really did enjoy the film. I thought it was really good. I'm just a little nitpicky with it because I felt like it could have been better, and they should have taken the time to handle some stuff with more care. Other than that, no notes. It's just A tier, but it's not S tier for me personally. Next up, we got Gladiator 2. It's not F tier. Surprisingly, it's not F tier. I thought this as a standalone film was actually not bad, but as a sequel, it was an objectively bad sequel, and I went into the film knowing it was going to suck. I knew there was no way it's going to stick its landing. The first Gladiator was just beautiful and perfect, and to try to sequel that, I knew they were not going to be able to succeed in the way they should. I definitely think they were a little bit disrespectful in some regards, like completely tearing down what Maximus died for with the Senate and just not explaining what happened in between there. And I thought there was like some smart decisions. Like I really liked the twin emperors. I thought they were very interesting character-wise. And I thought, I can't remember. Oh, and I thought Lucius being the continuation of the plotline was really smart. Other than that, though, objectively, it was pretty bad. There are some things that they should have handled way better. And that's the only reason I'm not giving it F tier is because I liked some of the ideas. That's the only thing saving it is it had potential. But from a sequel standpoint, it really sucked, and that would bump it down to F if I was any meaner. Next up, War Rohim. So I watched this one quite recently, and I don't know, it was just okay. It was pretty stereotypical, and I felt like they could have handled some things better. Like I did some research after I saw the movie. I didn't know anything about it going into it. That Helm Hammerhand was supposed to be like the focus of this mythos, and I think they should have put a little bit more focus on him. But honestly, I'm just kind of desperate for Lord of the Rings content, so seeing literally anything with Lord of the Rings attached to it, I'm kind of gonna place it in C tier or above. I just really want more Lord of the Rings stuff. I'm gonna be honest with you. Maybe that's a selfish desire, but I really enjoy the Lord of the Rings franchise, so it's getting C tier. It wasn't like spectacular, but it didn't like suck so much that I'm gonna put it anywhere else. I thought it was a little girl bossy, but not overly so, like some people were saying. It was just okay. It was just an okay movie, and sometimes that happens. It didn't have any extra oomph or anything. Although that one line on the bridge is hard, where she's like, "I am a bride to death." I can't remember the exact quote, but yeah, it was just good. Not bad, not amazing, just good. Next up, Monkey Man. This is going in B tier. It's not getting any higher because I felt like this was an art film. Like I've always described this as artsy John Wick. Like I thought it was good, and it was really strong plot wise, and even fight wise, it was really good. It just wasn't my kind of movie, and that's the only reason it's not getting any higher. It was good. It was artsy. And I'm not really into artsy films, so it's just staying in B tier. Next up, Night Swim. F tier. This movie was horrendously bad. Like, horrendously so. I really hate it. Wyatt Russell, I believe his name is, Kurt Russell's son. He was really good in this, and all of the acting was actually pretty good in this. The worst part about it was that it was actually a good concept, and they just mishandled it so bad. Like, they could have made this movie so much better, and it just sucked. it just it it was just bad. It was really bad. That it's getting F tier and it's not moving up. The acting was not enough to save this movie. It wasn't the actor's fault though. You could tell. Next up, we got Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. This was kind of jarring for me, with the time skip and everything, but I think it was a good decision to take the franchise here, and I'm excited to see what they do next. My favorite Planet of the Apes movies are actually the originals, and I do like the Tim Burton one, with Marky Mark in it. I think I'm hoping they're going the more science fiction route, but right now I'm not sure. And that will definitely be, I think the next film will be my decider on whether or not I love this franchise like a lot. Like I like the more grounded version that they're doing now, but I would like to see where we're going with this, if you get what I mean. Like, I definitely think there was some teaser for some space stuff at the end of this one, and I'm really excited to see that. And I really hope they're going the interdimension or the time dilation route. Like that's always been my favorite aspect of this. Okay. Next up, we have Kraven the Hunter. You know what? This film is E tier. Like this film was a really good idea fumbled. Like it was like Night Swim, but slightly better. Like this film had more redeeming qualities than Night Swim, I would think. It had really good ideas and they were just executed really badly, and I really felt that they should have leaned into that more he's not a contract killer, but the more justice killer vibe that he had going on. I would have liked to see him be a little bit more like the Punisher, where he like goes around killing people, and I think that could have made it for a good plot line. And honestly, they could have simplified it because I felt like Calypso didn't really belong in there. I could see him feeling indebted to her and maybe going on a killing spree on her behalf to find out who killed her friend. You know, I felt like that was kind of a wasted opportunity. I can see why they would set up the chameleon at the end, but it was just not my favorite way that they could have handled this. So, and I'm sure a lot of people agree. I saw the potential in it, though. That's the only reason it's not getting F tier. F tier's for like horrendously bad movies. Next up, we got Transformers 1. Now, this movie was really good. I did not know anything about it going into it. I had not watched any trailers. I had not seen any marketing for it except for the poster that they had on the little Cinemark app, because I'm in the movies all the time. So I'd seen it a couple times, but I hadn't gotten curious enough. But I had watched all the movies that were in theaters that I wanted to see already. So I went and saw this one, and it was really good. It really surprised me. For a kids movie, I thought it was actually kind of killer. I think that it dealt with the content that it was trying to do very well. And I know there was a lot of parents complaining that this was too scary, but I know as a little girl, like 8 and up, I would have loved this movie. I would have ate this movie up. I would have thought about it every day. I mean, it was really good. And I definitely think that I'd love to see more from this. I don't know if I would call it a franchise, but because it's not franchising yet. I want to see more from this universe, is what I was trying to say. I think it's got really, really good potential for more plot lines in this area. And I can't wait to see it. Hopefully they'll do more. I'm sure it will. I'm pretty sure it did well in theaters. Next up was Red One, Christmas movie with Dwayne Johnson. It was a Dwayne Johnson movie with Christmas filter. It's going in D tier because if you go see a Dwayne Johnson movie and you don't expect it to be exactly like this one, I don't know what you're doing. The only reason it's not above that is just because Dwayne Johnson movies are kind of meh. But I thought it was good. Um, it wasn't bad by any means. It just wasn't awesome. Pretty typical. Next up, Sonic 3. Oh my god, I love this movie. This is an S tier for me. This is going right next to Dune Part 2. And that may be controversial, but I don't care. This movie was really good. I definitely agree with other people that the humans were just there for their contractual obligation, and understandable from a studio point of view. I mean, you signed the contract, you gotta put them in there, man. Other than that, I like the way we're moving. I like the direction we're moving. I thought this handled Shadow very well, and I think that Keanu Reeves in here was wonderful. I think he did a really good job, and I think no notes. Also, that the dance scene to Galvanize is stuck in my head constantly. I will never get it out of my head ever again, and that's Jim Carrey's fault, and he knows that. He's aware. Next up, we got Venom. Till Death Do Us Part. This movie was just good, but it wasn't like awesome. That's why it's getting C tier. I mean, I felt like there could have been some things that were handled better, but I don't know. It was just, it was good to see Venom and Eddie again, and I think this is like kind of their send off, because I don't know if we're getting any more of the Sony verse after Craven crashed and burned. But I enjoyed Venom for what it was, and I enjoyed the franchise. I definitely think, I don't know if this one was stronger than Let There Be Carnage, but it definitely was good. So it's staying in C tier. Next up, The Hunger Game, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Now, this is going in A tier, because I really enjoyed this movie. Like, I can look past some of the flaws with it just because I enjoyed it so much. Like, I definitely think that some things did not translate well enough over from the book, but there were some things that were handled better than in the book. So I can forgive some if they. There's some give and take with this movie, as with all book translations. This one particularly, I think I enjoyed more for the fan space surrounding it than the film itself. Well, I don't know about that. I just think the film itself was good too. But the fan space around it was good. Like Deadpool and Wolverine or Dune Part 2. It was all pretty good. And the funniest thing happened is we got out of the theaters and it had started snowing. And it was, I think, the first snow of the season. And I cannot tell you how funny it was to quote the "snow lands on top" every time we kept circling back to that out in the parking lot with the snow coming down. Just hilarious. Next up, this is my birthday movie, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I feel like this is a B tier movie, actually. Like, I know it's kind of forgettable, but the scene between the one female spy and the Nazi will forever live in my head. Like, forever. It was objectively like kind of a meh film, but I feel like that scene really brought it up. Like that will make this movie memorable in my brain forever. Like, the tension every time those two were on screen was unmatched. Like, I cannot remember much of the plot other than that. Like, it was just so good. The scenes between those two. Killer. Next up, we got Wonka. Oh, this is controversial. I was thinking about putting it in S tier, which would make everybody go nuts, but I think it's a solid A tier. It was just, I felt like it was very wholesome. We watched it right after Christmas, I believe, like probably first week of January, and it was just really good. I felt very Christmassy, and I really enjoyed it for that. It was nice to see the first non-unnerving Willy Wonka for once. And I hope this solidifies Willy Wonka in kids' memories a little bit better than it did in mine, because, wow, the Johnny Depp one was disturbing. And so was the Gene Wilder one, to a certain extent. So I'm glad we're moving away from that, genuinely. I thought it was A tier. It was exactly what it said on the tin. It had good ambiance, and the memes between Dune Part 2 and Wonka were absolutely hilarious. I mean, it was just so funny. So I'm glad I went and saw it. I wasn't going to, but I really enjoyed it. And then last up on my movie list is Trap. Now, I was gonna put this one in C tier because it was kind of like just a typical escape serial killer movie, but I think it's earned its B tier just because the acting in it was so phenomenal. I really like the lead dude. I cannot remember his name for the life of me, but I thought he did a really good job, and I just like how unhinged he looked. I also like the plot. I felt like they could have been a little bit smarter with it, and that's the only reason that keeps it from being any higher on the list. And the only thing keeping it from going any lower is definitely the acting. I thought it was pretty good, and I thought it was pretty strong. And overall, I didn't want to end it out on a C tier, you know, just because I can't. I gotta have the majority of the movies over B tier, or else I feel bad. I'm kidding. I would absolutely ruthlessly rate movies if they sucked, and I do. Night Swim sucked. We don't even want to talk about that movie ever again. It was awful. 0 out of 10. Other than that, highlights of the year. S tier, we got Dune and Sonic 3. A tier, we got Deadpool and Wolverine, Transformers 1, Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbird and Snakes, and Wonka, actually. I'm surprised that landed so high, but it did. And then B tier, we got Wicked, we got Beetlejuice 2, we got Monkey Man, we got Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, and Trap. So I felt all of those films were pretty strong for what they were. Anything below that, we don't even have to talk about it. So that's my wrap up of my 2024 list. And I hope you enjoyed it. I'll leave the link down below if you want to run through my list. If you saw all these films also, I would love to see it. I have an X account, I think, and a TikTok account. That's it. I don't want to run any more social media. I'm too lazy. So I will see you guys. Rune out.